legend, everyday legend. Writing our names in the cracks of the present. Teach each other, grow from the lesson.
Welcome to Everyday Legends, where we believe legends aren't just born, they're also created. I am your host, Antoine Craig, and I'm super excited to be joined here with one of my favorite people in the entire world, Legend. He is an amazing athlete. He's working on his Ph.D. in clinical health psychology, and he has done so many things all over the world, volunteers, and he runs a nonprofit organization. But I won't give him too much of an introduction. I'll let him kind of discuss who he is and what he's doing and what he's up to. But so, Legend, without further ado, just give me a little bit about yourself. Like, first of all, I'm a huge fan, first of all, and I'm just really appreciative that you took the time to come on the show, because I know you've never done an interview before, and I've been able to like land this exclusive interview with you. So I just want to say thank you. But just give me a little bit about who you are and what's going on. No, bro, I appreciate you. Like, your producer got me all mic'd up and stuff. That's a nice little setup you got going on. But yeah, like, I appreciate you having me and taking the time to highlight my story and notice all the stuff that I've been doing, like, single-handedly. So I appreciate you. I guess a little bit about myself. I'm a Paralympic athlete, and I currently working on my Ph.D. in clinical health psychology. I do a lot of things. I have a nonprofit organization where I help kids, help basically change their life, introduce them to things that they didn't know that they were able to do, kind of be that guide and light for them. Because, one of the things that I wish I had when I was coming up was having someone like myself that was able to show me exactly what I was capable of. Because, it was tough, because you just didn't know what was available to you when you lose your vision. So, I mean, I've been lucky enough to just work hard and become like a very dope individual and just work hard and get all these accolades and stuff like that. So you're welcome. Yes, so I hear you got a lot going on. That's really admirable that you've taken the time to really give back, and it sounds like you really know who you are and what your impact is on the community. So I think that's really commendable. But I wonder how does this, how are you able to kind of get through these accomplishments? How are you able to do so much stuff? Like, what kind of mental capacity does this take for you to complete? Yeah, no, appreciate it. Yeah, like, the hard work is real. Like, you grind, you do all the things, and as far as the accomplishments piece that you mentioned, it's like, you don't really go into it thinking about your accomplishments, right? If you did that, then it'll be hard for you to accomplish. I think somebody once said, like, you shoot for the moon, you land on a cloud. No, you shoot for the stars. No, you shoot for the moon, you land on the clouds. I think I live that. Like, I embody that. Like, because if you think about all of those little accolades that I've gotten, like, you see on the internet, I mean, those are cool, but those all came along the way because I was shooting towards a bigger goal of making it to the Olympics, and it's like as time went by, like, those goals and that dreams start to change. Like, one of the things that I've been saying lately is, like, it's okay to dream. It's like, but once you dream, you take that dream and write it down. Then you go to sleep and you wake up, and then you write that dream down, and then you go to sleep again and you dream even bigger, right? Because those first couple of dreams were not big enough. So I think mentally, keeping myself in that space and helping myself understand that, like, if I stay where my feet are and I just focus on that goal, don't worry about all the accolades and all the other things, everything else will come. Thank you for that answer. So, for me, the first thing I think about, like, hearing your response is, like, uh, from coming from the aspect of me being a therapist, it's like, you know, it's understandable. Like, you're going through all these different challenges, and you go through so much pain and struggle, and you're a track athlete as well as a soccer player. So I wonder, like, why is that pain necessary in your life? Why is that pain necessary for your growth? Or is it even necessary for growth? What is your thoughts about that? I mean, to be honest, like, pain is just, it comes with the territory. You got to have, like, a good relationship with it. Like, if you shy away from anything, Like it just make you soft. Like David Goggins said, it make you a bitch, right? So you can't, you can't be scared of a little pain because pain, you know, everybody say like pressure, you know, makes diamonds and pressure busts pipes, right? But it definitely shapes you into the person that you need to be. Like you need to grow, and the only way to grow is to go through that pain and go through that pressure. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, it's alright if you go through a little pain, right? You got a little ice. That's what the ice is for, you know. So you know, you know, if you shy away from pain, like the way when you approach obstacles, the best way to get through an obstacle is to go through it, not to jump over it, not to go around it. You got to go through it. And you know, my personal philosophy, like that's the that's the quickest way to get to where you're trying to go. So I think it is necessary, yeah. Now that's awesome. It's very clear that you have found a way to kind of master, you know, what you're able you master yourself and your challenges in a very interesting way. And you know, wanted to ask this question about you going blind. You know, I wonder, like when you hit the track and when you play soccer, like are you running from something? Are you running from darkness? Are you overcompensating? Like what are you actually doing when you're out there? Are you running towards a goal? Like what's your big motivation, especially while navigating going through something so difficult as blindness? Yeah, boy, like it's so crazy like people ask me these blind questions. You know, like to be honest, like I probably think about being blind like 0% of my day. You know, and I know that sounds weird, but it's like you just live. You don't live as a blind person. You don't live. You know, I'm just legend, right? So I get up in the morning and I just you know you go through your day. You get up, brush your teeth, you know make breakfast, and you do all the things, but you don't. There's not a part of the day where you like, oh, I'm blind today. Like that's crazy. That doesn't really exist in my psyche. I think I'm too busy being me than to sit around and try to you know shape a narrative or feel sorry for myself or take knowledge. Like one of the biggest things is like you have multiple identities, right? I have a lot of identities, so that's not one of my dominant identities. Like one, you know, I'm a male, I'm a man. That's a very dominant one, you know, and all the things that are attached to that. Like I love football and I love, you know, climbing stuff and jumping off stuff and you know, there's other identities that are far more dominant and prevalent in my life and they shape who I am. So, um, you know, that's a good question, but unfortunately, yeah, I don't really think about my blindness at all. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was wondering, like, my question is like, but is that motivation? Is it come from like you just wanting to be legendary, or like what is that overarching motivation exactly? Mm, no, you're good. I mean, I think let's see. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like you just like you wake up in the morning and you just want to be him because you are him and you feel it. So it's like you know trying to be legendary or trying to be a legend like that's like overarching like just spank everything. Like no matter what you do it to your best. No matter if I'm at track, you know, you try to become number one in the country, right? In the 100 and the 400, and you soccer, you try to be the best player on the team, try to be the fastest, try to be the best with the ball, try to, you know, you go into these spaces like you don't have no choice. It's not even a thought because you wake up dope every day, right? So it's like why even question that what you're going to be in a new sport? Like if I was to go pick up another sport today, like for instance, like I like to row as a cross train, and I don't train for rowing, but I just go to this like erg sprint event, and every year I just show up, and I hop on the erg, and I end up winning a gold medal every time, and it's like I expect it of myself because that's who I am. It's like no matter what I'm doing, like um, you know I'm going to be him at it. So I think it's just a way of life. Like you don't question who you are, who you're supposed to be. That's awesome. I think I have another question. I think I know the answer to this question though. When you win, like you have all these medals that you've won and you collected, but I wonder when you win and you stand on that podium, as soon as you step off that podium, does that change your internal dialogue, your internal doubt, or does the goalpost move when you're away from that extra competition? Like I wonder what happens to you or how you feel about yourself after the competitions. You know, when you get on a podium or you win that award, it don't change you. At least it shouldn't change you. It validates you for sure. It just confirmed what you already knew. You knew you was gonna win that shit. Like when you stepped out there, you knew you was gonna like kill everything, right? You knew that. Um, but there's a there is something to it. Like when you step off that podium, this is something I have to work on. Is that hunger and that drive is still there? Like you're never satisfied. So when you hop off that podium, you're like thinking about the next podium that you want to hop onto, and that's not fair, right? That's not fair to Antoine. But me being legend, it's like like I'm always like going towards the next goal, going to the next competition. I'm on to the next one, and I need for the sake of him, for the sake of Antoine, I need to allow us to take that downtime and really enjoy what we just done, all the work we put in, all the sacrifices, all the brownies we didn't eat, all the bad thing, all the drinks I didn't drink. It's a lot of sacrifice to go into it to get on that podium. So that's the tough part of it. Just allowing myself to be human again and allow Antoine to take over my personality more and not be so dominated by Legend and his unending, unyielding drive to be the dopest, be the greatest, be the fastest, be the strongest, be the most handsomest, be the one with all the medals and all the things. Let's change gears a little bit. Like me hearing you answer that question kind of made me think about like you are one of those people, you love to run hills. I've seen your Instagram. You love to run hills and kind of punish yourself until most people would throw up, but I know you Legend and you don't throw up or anything like that, but you like to punish yourself. I wonder if I'm trying to find a proper way to word this, but I wonder if like that pain has something deeper going on, and if you might even need like an emergency, one-on-one therapy session to kind of work through your feelings and how you're able to endure that type of pain. Like, are you a masochist? Yeah, I think the good thing about hills, bro. Like for real, the good thing about hills is it's one of those things that it immediately lets you know that you working hard. And oftentimes you don't really get that challenge because you get so good, you get so fit, your abs be popping, right? You get all the muscles and you walking around like a little baddie. All the ladies are like, "Hey, Twan," "Hey, Legend," and it makes you soft, right? All those compliments and you getting a plate, it makes you soft. So yeah, you need to introduce more pain to your workouts because it immediately lets you know that like, okay, today I got better. Today, today I put in that work, and that's important. But as far as managing it, I think doing the work beforehand, before you get to the point, because if you're doing the work afterwards, you're behind the eight ball, so that's gonna be a problem because now you gotta unravel and unpack. But I think for me, doing sports psych over the years and talking to somebody, having mentors, having my play mom and all these different people to support me, to cheer me on and make sure that that my head is in the right space. I think that's the most important. You got to be more. You can't be reactive. You need to be proactive, not reactive, especially when it comes to therapy. So, I don't need no emergency session, but you know, it's always good when you get an opportunity to just sit down and talk with somebody and help them sort through what you need to move to your next challenge. Because I'd be foolish to think of it, like I wouldn't need any help. So yeah, I definitely get that help. So I appreciate it. All right, so this is a fan question. Um, I'm kind of curious about it too. Like, you're getting your PhD in clinical health psychology. Like, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the importance of brain health and concussions and TBIs and all of those things. But, knowing that knowledge, you actually play blind soccer. So how do you balance like the duality of like being careful, but also being very aware of the consequences and the challenges of playing such a tough sport? Boy, I'm legend. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie though. Soccer a little. It's so different than track, but like, yeah, you're right. Understanding the knowledge and the challenges of being worried about being hurt. But I think that's really it. Like, if you play scared, you think you're gonna get hurt, then you're gonna get hurt. So you gotta be brave. You gotta be courageous. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta make sure when you step on that field that you're physical enough and you're tough enough and you're fast enough to get yourself in and out of trouble. Like, I'm fortunate that I'm almost 6'2", about 170 pounds, right, of pure chocolate sexy. But you know like those things are important, right? Because you gotta get the muscle on, you gotta get your athleticism. A lot of times guys get hurt because they just their mental don't be there and they don't be there physically. So I think knowing that, like, I think that's what helps me, like, not even thinking about getting hurt. Like, you just believe in what you've done, believe in your training, believe in your workouts, and everything else works out for itself. But yeah, you're right. Knowing that knowledge does kind of make you a little bit more cautious, but it also helps you take precautions. All right, legend. I want to get you out of here on this last question. You know, you're clearly an amazing individual. Like, you even somebody that I look up to myself, and I wonder, like, just tell me about a time where recently there was a struggle for you and how you navigated that. And, just kind of share the information, for somebody that may be watching who also want to be a legend and want to live the type of life that you're living now. Like, how would they get there, and what was the struggle, one of those like recent struggles that help you understand that, like, you are actually really a legend? No, appreciate you having me. Yeah, no, we can I can give you a little story. Like, um I remember when I was finishing up my master's degree, and I was we had a camp, we had a national team camp for soccer, and it had overlapped. So it looked like I was going to be able to graduate. I had to walk, but it was in DC, so I had to walk. So I ended up getting a plane ticket from DC all the way to Chula Vista, to San Diego, California. So once I graduated, I immediately had to, like, hurry up and take my pictures, and then cap and gown and everything, fly across town to get to the airport. Then my flight got canceled, and then I ended up, like, having to pivot real quick, buy another flight on Delta, and I flew all the way across the country, still dress clothes and everything. And I ended up landing in Cali. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I get to camp, and it was actually, yeah, it was a national team tryout camp, and I wasn't going to miss that thing for nothing. And I get to camp, I go out there. Next day we wake up early as hell in the morning. I hardly even got like a couple hours of sleep, and I get out there, I ball out, and then I end up making the national team for soccer. And like that taught me a lot, because sometimes, like, there's going to be challenges and things aren't going to always go the way you want them to go, but do they have to go that way? And I was able to kind of muscle up the intestinal fortitude to just make happen what I needed to make happen. And it paid off. Look at me now. Like, I'm on I've been named to my second U.S. national team for soccer. So if I didn't, if I didn't take that chance in that moment, who knows where my life would have turned out. I probably wouldn't have never created Blind Soccer Nation. I probably wouldn't have the impact that I have. And I probably wouldn't even be talking to you today. So, I think the message is that, like, sometimes everything is not going to go the way you want it to go, but you have to roll up your sleeves and make it go the way that you want it to go. And it can look any number of ways. It's not going to be clean, and sometimes it's going to be dirty, and sometimes you're going to have to do a lot of stuff you don't want to do. But if there's a way for you to get it done, then that's what you need to do. You just get it done. Legend out. All right, what do you want me to say again? Okay. I'm Legend, and you're watching Everyday Legends. Like that? This is your boy Legend. Hey, I messed that one up. I'm Antoine Craig, aka Big Legend, number 4 on the U.S. National Blind Soccer Team, and you're watching Everyday Legends.